Kurt Rude is not out mountain goat scouting. He's here watching us. Jesse from New Mexico is here. Dean jumped in. He must have given up on the crappie fishing this evening. Man, I know too many of these people who are becoming regulars. This is like an everyday kind of, we should just have a campfire. Everyone come around, we'll just tell big stories. Anyhow, I'm here, you're there, Kyler's back here, and we are about ready to launch episode 78 of Elk Talk Live. We're going to expand on last week's topics of go elk hunting this year, and here are the ways you can do that. There's still some leftover tags, there's some over-the-counter tags, there's some second draws, there's alternate lists. You got to go elk hunting this year. But we got to go through all the companies who make this possible, and then we've got this whole board of free things. I mean, there's sweepstakes and contests and free boots and knives and all kinds of stuff going on, free trials. We'll get to all those, but we want to thank Bowtech, Leupold, Onyx, Go Hunt, Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, Tight Spot, Ripcord, and Black Gold, because without them we wouldn't be here doing this. So, someone already's, someone's talking about Unit 1 in Arizona early archery bull elk hunt. Randy, how many dilly bars to get you to give me some advice? That's not going to cost you any dilly bars. I probably don't have any good advice, but advice from me is probably worth what you pay for it. Not much. Someone says they got their Wyoming tags in the mail today. I got my deer tag in the mail yesterday. Randy, how's the elk hunting north of Casper, Wyoming? Pretty darn good. Really good. Let's see. What do we got? We need some questions. Oh yeah, someone already asked. I'm gonna have Kyler put the link in there. Season 7 of Amazon Prime, on Amazon Prime, season 7 of Fresh Tracks. The first 9 episodes went live on Friday. Finally, after all of this, it took forever. So Kyler's going to put the link in there. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber and you want to watch us in the highest resolution possible, commercial free, just binge watch it, go to Amazon Prime. If you don't hit that link, just search Fresh Tracks and you'll be there. Have I ever hunted the Zirkle Wilderness in Colorado? I have not. In most parts of Colorado, I've not been able to get a film permit in the wilderness areas, which is weird because I've received wilderness film permits in Arizona, in New Mexico, Nevada. So they just, sometimes they won't, you just never know. Let's put it that way. All right, someone's got a Unit 7E late tag in Arizona. Arizona Unit 7E late bull, my tag this season. Where did you hunt? I had the Kachina Peaks tag of Unit 7E. I was up at about 10,500 feet. And I come from a place with some pretty steep hills. And that, I'll tell you, hunting the top of the peaks up there, that's some tough ground. Let's see. Any tips on Barbary sheep? I've never hunted them. But do I think an elk decoy would work for antelope? Never tried it. Let's see. How high up should I go early October rifle season in the Colorado Endless Wilderness? It depends. When you say early, they have an early season that's like October 4th or whatever. There's still going to be some rutting activity going on, so I would go wherever the good food is in that wilderness area, and that's where the cows will be, and there'll still be a lot of bulls around the cows. So I wouldn't go way back just to go way back. You might be walking past a lot of elk. Can bulls be patterned during the rut, or are they just chasing cows? Both. They can be patterned because the cows can be patterned if they're not pressured. And if the cows are doing the same thing every day, the bulls are going to be right there with them doing the same thing every day. Especially once the bigger bulls get their cow herds kind of organized, you will see that they are keeping all the smaller bulls away and they're more patternable. The satellite bulls are just moving from herd to herd or buzzing around thinking, oh, maybe I can find a lone cow. If you watch elk, whether you hunt them or not, just watch them, you'll see that the older bulls have their patterns tied to the cows in the peak of the rut. Let's see, post rut. Would you hunt a burn near lots of roads and pressure, or a roadless area within a couple miles of the burn? In post rut, I'm probably hunting the roadless area because they're in sanctuary mode. And just know that there's a lot, and I'm talking about public land, highly pressured elk. They're not going to stand by roads for very long, especially in the post rut. The post rut's the hardest time of the year to kill an elk. That's why so many states, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, can have these general or over-the-counter tags during that period, because the success rates are really low because it's hard to kill an elk then. Oh man, I wish you could too, Eduardo. Wish I could use Randy as a promo code to buy a Nissan Titan. Just go buy one anyhow. Try promo code Randy, see if it works. I doubt it. Let's see. These are coming past so fast I can't read them. Randy, been working on my bugling. What mouth PC do you use for your best calling? I use for cow calling. I'm trying to remember the name. I should know. It's blue tape with a black latex from Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. And then when I'm bugling, I use their Challenger, the diaphragm call. So, and if you go to Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls and you use promo code Randy, you will get 15% off. I can assure you that promo code Randy works there. Randy, still using bone broadheads? Yep, I am. Been shooting them this summer in my new Bowtech, and I wish I would have stumbled on those a long time ago. I'm really impressed with them. Okay. What? Randy, you keep talking about public land. You don't really hunt public land. Okay. I don't know where I'm hunting then. Let's see. Ramon says, I have both the Havalon and the Gerber knife now, thanks to your RMEF promo. I prefer the Gerber because the blade is so much easier to replace. So, while supplies last, and they're getting low on these, if you become a member of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Gerber's going to give you one of these Vital knives with the RMEF logo on it. And right here is what that person is talking about. You just push this little button, and the blade comes out, voila. Just like that. And I've tried every replaceable blade knife on the market, and I know what Ramona's talking about. You feel like you're going to cut your finger off trying to replace the blades on some of the other ones. So go to rmef.org/Gerber, and when you sign up to become a member, not only are you helping elk and other wildlife, you're going to get a great Gerber Vital. Can't beat it. Randy, when's the new season dropping? Jim Bridger says that. It's already dropped. It went up, finally got approved on Amazon on Friday. Cool stuff. Thanks for everybody watching. I just checked the analytics on Amazon when Kyler and I got here. Sunday was our best day ever on Amazon by a big stretch. So thanks to everybody who's watching out there. And for those of you who don't have Amazon Prime, starting, I think, August, somewhere August 6th, 7th, 8th, we're going to take the first Amazon episode and put it over on YouTube. And then every week we're going to add a couple more. So those of you who don't have it will be able to get it on YouTube. So let's see. Randy, if you had an archery elk tag during the rut that's either sex, would you hold up for a bull or shoot the first elk that comes by during the rut? Boy, that's a hard one. I'm one of those lucky guys who gets to hunt a lot, but back in the day when I only had one hunt a year probably, I'd have been shooting that thing. Corey Jacobson and I just did a podcast about cow elk hunting. It releases this Friday. I hope that when people do that or listen to that, they're like, yeah, This is cool. This cow elk hunting is what it's all about. Hey Randy, I can either buy a new rifle scope or spotting scope. I have a Leupold 3x9 scope now. What are your thoughts? Oh, if you already have a Leupold Gold Ring 3-9, just like what's on this rifle, boy, it'd be hard pressed to not buy a spotting scope. I would. That's what I'd do. So let's see. Pat Sinclair, man, how's life up in that part of the world? Randy, I have a question for October cow tag in Utah, northern Utah. I'm just wondering, what's your opinion for success? Find the food. Cows are always looking for the best food all the time, every day, 24 hours a day. Find the best food and you'll find the cow elk. Let's see. Do you think elk eat on certain aspects in the morning and night due to sunlight? I would answer that differently for bulls than I do for cows. I think that they eat whenever they have to. There's research out there that says they have to eat 4 times a day. So they're going to eat obviously just before daylight. Most will say they're going to eat sometime around 11 or noon. They're going to get up, and they're not going on big forays to do that. They're going to nibble a little bit around where they're bedding. They have to eat sometime, some 3, 4 in the afternoon and get a little bit of food. And then again, they come out, start eating heavily right after dark. So, I don't know. It's, for me, I would say that they do it based on cycles of when they can feed and be least disturbed. That's my opinion. There's some research that supports a lot of that. Let's see. Randy, is the Randy rifle that's going to be from Howa, is it going to be a limited run? Yes, there are only so many of them. I hope not, so I can save dollars to get one for the wife. We're going to do a limited run of them this fall. I think they're shipping in about a week or 10 days. And they're going to be available at one retailer. And that retailer also can get them to your local gun dealer. And so once they're sold out, we'll have to wait till we do another run of them next year. Let's see, Randy, a year after running your Cooper AT3 XLTs, what are your thoughts to date? The best tire I've ever owned. And I had to pay full cash for that. I mean, I don't have any relationship with Cooper. I went and looked at them all, and for what I do and the places I go, I am super, super impressed. When's the best time for taking a backcountry nap? There's not a bad time. I mean, if you ever go watch a Wyoming episode that aired in, what would that be, season 4, I think? I took a nap in Wyoming, and here comes 70 elk walking right past me, and my bow is about 5 or 6 yards over there. I got my boots off, got my socks off. I never turned down a nap. So now we got to make sure that we cover the idea that you can go elk hunting this year. If you did not draw a tag in one of the limited entry draws, we put them on the board. We actually did a YouTube video on it this week. We walked through what I think are the 5 best options. The best option is Idaho. Idaho is first come, first serve. Some of the zones sell out right away, but a lot of the state still has tags left. And if you already bought an Idaho license to apply for moose, goat, or sheep, or apply for deer, elk, or antelope, you already got that part invested. Go spend the $400 for the elk tag, go to Idaho. So of all the options remaining, Idaho, I think, is your best chance. After that, Colorado, over the counter. It's over the counter for a lot of the archery units. The second rifle in late October and the third rifle in early November. There's no reason between those 2 states you shouldn't be elk hunting this year if that's something you really want to do. Oregon has a ton of over-the-counter hunts. Most of their Roosevelt hunting is over the counter, Roosevelt elk. Some of their archery for the Rockies is over the counter, and some of that is cow only, some of it's spike only. You got to check the regulations in Oregon, but they have a lot of options available to you. Montana, we have a list that you can get on when non-residents turn their tags back in after the draw. I think this year it's going on sale August 5th or 6th, something like that. Go to Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, their website. They'll tell you what the date is. And then Utah has over-the-counter hunts. It's mostly, the Utah guys say, you need to warn people that this is pretty crowded hunting. Okay. A lot of their over-the-counter is archery only, or if it's rifle, it's often spike only, and sometimes even the archery spike only. Again, Utah has these options, but go and make sure you understand them because it's not the same for every unit in the state for all seasons. So you just got to be paying attention. But the point of all that is, there's multiple places for you to go elk hunting this year if you want to go elk hunting. Don't say, oh, well, I didn't draw a tag, so I'm not going. Well, go. Just go. Ever hunt Unit 7 in Wyoming? Nope, I haven't. Never have. Let's see. What's your long-term plan for Colorado elk after you spent all your years building these points and you burned them a couple of years ago? I'm never going to have probably more than 3 or 4 points in Colorado. The difference of the quality of the hunt when you burn 3 or 4 points versus 10 or 12 points is not very much. So I'm just going, and I'll let all those other people do the point building. When you're 54 years old, you're really not into point building. You're into point burning at that point. Does temperature dictate whether you do the gutless method or gut your elk? How about antelope? Temperature probably doesn't dictate it on an elk or an antelope. I do the gutless method on just about everything. With antelope, it's not temperature related. It's more, can I get it to a tree real quick where I can hang it and get the skin off? So sometimes you shoot an antelope and there's a grove of trees over there, half mile. I'll gut it real quick. I'll go over there, I'll hang it, and then just to keep it from getting dirty and everything, I'll take the hide off. I'll do a traditional method that way with an antelope. If I'm out there and there's no tree and I know, hey, it's gonna be an hour to pack this thing out, I'm doing the gutless method on an antelope. With an elk, I am just about always doing the gutless method. I'm trying to think when I don't do the gutless method on elk. Temperature really doesn't have anything to do with it. Randy, I need to buy new boots. What brand do you recommend? I recommend Kenetrek. And if you go to this page you're watching on right now on Facebook, if you're a Facebook watcher, we have a contest going on out on our, I think we posted it today, where Kenetrek is giving away a free pair of boots. Go there and check it out after Elk Talk Live is over. All right, here's one from Instagram. How often do you shoot your bow? When you have really bad shoulders like I do, you take this bow out for breakfast and you shoot, I don't know, 3 to 6 arrows. And then I take it out during my lunch break, I shoot 3 to 6 arrows. And then after dinner, I shoot 3 to 6 arrows. So I don't shoot a lot. I'm more worried about where's that first arrow. Once I get dialed in, my shoulders, you know, maybe I'm a wuss or whatever, it just hammers me. If I go to a 3D shoot and I shoot, you know, I don't know, 40 arrows in a day, it's like, oh my gosh. So it's, I don't know, it's the way I do it. So to the question of how often I shoot, that's the answer. How long before sunrise should I be in the woods before or for elk hunting? Well before sunrise. You want to be to your spot that you have where you want to be in the morning. Be there before legal shooting light. I try to get there half hour beforehand, just let the woods calm down, see what the wind's doing. Just be there early, because elk are only out for that short period in the morning, and if you just start walking in at sunlight, they're already going to be in their beds by the time you get there. Another Instagram question: most common mistake that spot and stock bow hunters make? I can't talk about other bow hunters, but I can tell you about myself. My most common mistake is I get in too big of a hurry. I just, sometimes I get excited. I would say most of the stalks that I blow, that's what happens. Bevan asks out on live stream, Randy, do you know when you can purchase points in Wyoming right now? I believe the period is July, August, and September. Maybe some states it goes into October, but I know July, August, September you can buy your points in Wyoming right now. Let's see. Randy, when is the Corner Crossing podcast coming? Oh, Benny, thanks for bringing that up. I've been trying to get the crew here to do the Corner Crossing podcast with me, but everyone's like, no, I don't know that I want to be on that podcast with you. I've hired some of the best law firms I know of to give me opinions on corner crossing. And I tried to get the attorneys who gave me that opinion to be on the podcast. And they said, no, we're worried that people will take general advice and apply it to a specific situation, and that will result in problems. So I get it. I understand. So I'm doing that podcast in the next week or two, and I'm going to have to summarize these legal opinions. And the point of it is to explain how complex corner crossing is as a legal issue. We want to make it very simple. It's extremely complex. And that will be the purpose of the podcast, is to explain how complicated corner crossing is from a legal standpoint, so that we don't get in a hurry and just say, oh, I'm going to go do this without thinking about it all. And it's not going to be legal advice. It's going to be the disclaimer of, I'm giving you this as an accountant interpreting what attorneys have written. So, let's see. Forrest asks, what elk arrow setup would you recommend? For me, I use a fixed blade broadhead, 125 grain. Total arrow weight is, I just weighed it the other day, and I'm like 498, 500, 498, 500. I mean, that's total everything. Knock, fletching, insert, arrow, the whole works. So it depends somewhat on your draw length, your draw weight, and what distances you think you're going to be shooting. I shoot 40 yards is kind of the end of where I'm interested in shooting. Ryan says, should my elk hunting partners be getting in shape now for a Montana rifle hunt? If they can. I tell people, don't stay home because you aren't a gym rat. But the inverse of that is, the better shape you're in, the more fun you're going to have elk hunting, and the greater the likelihood of success. So, especially if you're coming from a low altitude, man, coming to the high mountains and chasing elk when you're out of shape is just, it's physically draining, it's disappointing, it's discouraging, it's a lot of things. So yeah, tell them to get in as good a shape as they can. Let's see, what else we got here? Someone says only 33 days in a wake up till they're elk hunting. I like that idea. I'm going to be, in August, I'm going to already be archery hunting. Me and Mike from Leopold, we're going to Nevada for a velvet mule deer. And then we're taking my buddy Ray. He's a disabled vet. We're taking him on a Nevada pronghorn hunt. So we're going to be having fun. What nozzler ammo would you recommend for elk if you had a 30-06? Probably 180 grain nozzler partitions for elk, or AccuBonds. Or if you want an odd light alternative, I'd go to one of their E-tips. And I think in that one, you're looking at 168 grain E-tip, if I remember right. A 30-06, man, it's killed a lot of elk. If I had a penny for every elk killed by a 30-06, whew. That was amazing. Amazing round. Randy, is round a hunting shape? I guess it can be. Joseph asks, I'm interested in doing a do-it-yourself black bear hunt and a caribou hunt in Alaska. Any chance of you doing a podcast on the details of that? Probably not. If you go out to our forum, hunttalk.com, there are threads out there where I've went through the entire logistics of the black bear hunt that we do there every year or every other year. And then some of the other guys have done pretty much the same thing when it comes to do-it-yourself caribou. So hunttalk.com and you'll be just fine. Shane, 270 or 30-06 as an all-around rifle? I don't know. It's kind of like saying, do I want chocolate cake or do I want raspberry sherbet? They're both great. I always tell people I shot my first 5 bulls with the 270 shooting 150 grain Nosler partitions. I would just pick which one is you like and go with it and don't look back. What was my favorite hunt? My favorite hunts are any that involve family members. My son, my brother, my uncles. Last year, my mom's youngest brother, Jimmer, hunted with us in New Mexico. He was my college roommate. He's a year older than me. And this year, 2 of his older brothers, Uncle Larry and Uncle Mike, are hunting with me. And boy, I hope Uncle Mike is half on camera of what he is off camera. If he is, it's going to be a smash hit. Alfred, I've answered the question you keep asking about what broadhead I use. I answered it earlier. I use bone broadheads. So you don't have to post it every time. If I don't get to your question, it's because there's oodles and oodles of them running through here. And I can't get to them all. So, let's see. Someone's on their elliptical machine preparing for a Montana rifle elk hunt. That's good. Keep after it. Let's see. What's this about antelope? Do you only talk about elk? Just got my first Montana antelope archery tag. Don't know much about antelope. Well, what's a good time? What to look for? If you go to our YouTube channel, we've done multiple archery antelope hunts out there. It's a ton of fun. It is a ton of fun. And there's lots of them, and you'll probably be able to have multiple stock opportunities. And if you want to bore yourself to tears, but probably fill your tag, sit over water. I'm just not capable of that very often. Trevor asks, Randy, which hunt are you and your son Matthew going on this year? Unfortunately, Matthew won't be on any hunts with us this year. He has been laid up from work since mid-January. He's going back to work here in a couple of weeks, so he's feeling better now, and so that kind of put the damper. You lose 6 months of work, it kind of puts the kibosh on your hunting season. So next year Newberg, we'll call him. How we doing out there on Instagram? We got any questions out there, Kyler? Some? None? Few? Okay. Just want to make sure. All right. Let's see. That's a tough one. Ron says, I'm doing a do-it-yourself pack-in hunt in Eastern Oregon. I only have 28th of August to the 5th of September. Any tips? Whew. Boy, that's a hot period. The rut, we're talking like pre-rut. That's just a hard hunt. I don't know where in Eastern Oregon. A lot of Eastern Oregon's pretty open country. You might have to think about spotting and stalking. You might have to think about sitting water that early. Boy, it's hard. I wish I had a real answer to that. There might be a few bulls that are already active. I mean, there will be some bugling going on, but it's tough. Hey, Randy, is Marcus originally from Washington State? No, he's from Dillon, Montana. Elk hunting in Idaho, rifle, October 15th through November 8th. What are the best 5 days in your opinion? In my opinion, I'd go the last 5 days. I know people be like, oh, they're going to be pressured. All the bulls are going to be shot. No, I will go as late as I possibly can in any of the rifle seasons, because the hunting pressure has concentrated the elk into sanctuary mode to the highest degree. So I can look at a map and say, all right, here's most of my map I can get rid of by the time season's been open for a week or two. So I'm left with hardly any other places to go, and if I kind of make my route of getting to those places and glassing in there, if there are bulls around, I'm going to probably find them. So that's why I go the last 5 days. Pennsylvania elk. Isn't this one of the cheaper hunts you could do? Yeah, it would if you could draw a tag. The odds of a non-resident drawing a Pennsylvania elk tag is right there with lottery type odds. So, do I use cow estrus during the peak rut? Nope. I know you use pack llamas. What are your thoughts on pack goats? Have you ever used them? I never have. Any tips for early December cow hunt in Arizona Unit 23? The unit has almost all the terrain imaginable. It does, and there's some really rough terrain. 2 years ago, I tagged out the last day sitting water. What's a better way? Sounds like you got it figured out. I can't scout since the elk move in early, since elk move in late. In Arizona, I would focus on food and water for cows. I wouldn't worry about sanctuary. I mean, you look at some of those canyons there in Unit 23, that's where the bulls are going to be, but that's not necessarily where the cows are going to be. I'd be looking where the best food is, near water. And it sounds like you got something pretty well dialed in there if you already filled your tag. Someone says, I bet you're ready for a nap, Randy. No, I already had one. I left work early today. I went home. I was going to help my wife do something. I laid down on the couch and I was out. So I've had about a 3-hour nap already today. Will elk use a water source if a bear is visiting to the water also? I don't think they'd come in at the same time, but I don't think they'd have to be gone very long before an elk would start using it. Oh gosh. What bullet grain would you recommend for elk in a 280 Remington? I'd probably be somewhere between, I don't know, 160, 165 grain, something like that. And I'd probably be using an Osler Accubon, maybe an Osler Partition. What's your go-to elk muzzleloader load? I don't have one. I have a muzzleloader. I've shot like 3 animals with it, 1 mule deer and 2 whitetails, so I'm not the guy to ask. But if you have the Unit 27 early bull tag, I think you're probably talking about Arizona. You're gonna have a really, 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 really good time. Hey Randy, when's the new Howa coming out? In about 2 weeks, I hear. This is what it looks like right here. We're trying to figure out. Howa asked me, what do you think of the color? At first I saw a picture of it. I'm like, I don't know. Let me see the real thing. And now the crew thinks the color pattern on this HS Precision stock is really cool. This one here is a 6.5 Creedmoor. I got a 308 and a 300 Win Mag. Comes with the Leupold VX3 eye scope. This one is got the CDS model on it, and it's the 3.5 by 10 40 millimeter. Whole package comes as one thing. Scope's already mounted, the bases, the rings, you name it. Gonna be ready. They told me they're supposed to start shipping them to the retailer in the next week, so guess we'll see. My job is kind of done, or I don't want to say done, but the hard part for me was coming up with all the ideas. I shouldn't even say come up with the ideas. My job was to say, Randy, you've shot all these combinations, you've been hunting for however many years. What's your best guess, your best design of what we could do to give hunters something where they can buy that and not look back? So now it's their job to manufacture, to deliver, to work with retailers. I just get to smile and say, well, it's up to them, but it's coming soon. What is the price of that rifle? I don't know. That's going to be up to the retailer. And what's the weight on that Howa? I believe, I shouldn't say this, but I think with the scope, the ring, the mounts, and everything is close to 9 pounds. Now I probably got that wrong, and someone's going to be like, what? So, but we're working on one that is super, super light. We're hoping that's going to be ready next spring or summer. Let's see. Randy, if you only had enough in a budget for a good spotting scope or a good set of 15x whatever binoculars, which would you go with? I would go with a spotting scope before I'd buy 15 power binoculars. And just how it is. What weight socks do you wear in early season knowing it can be near freezing to 80 degrees? I wear Kenetrex, and usually I'm going to be wearing the Montana. I don't know what weight those are, but you can go out to Kenetrex and figure that out. The model is the Montana. Mid-August archery elk hunt in Nevada. That's the downside of Nevada's archery hunts. Any tips? Yeah, find some water. It's hot there. I've been on some of those, and it's really, really, really hot. Someone says out here on live stream, point systems stink. The draw odds have dropped significantly with so many people applying across the board. What can help improve this? Get rid of point systems. I'm not a fan of point systems. And I got a lot of points in a lot of states. I'd give them all up if every state would go back to just, all right, random draw. Everyone's got the same odds every year. But as long as you have, and this is people looking at it from a scarcity standpoint, we're all going to fight over a smaller herd of animals, which means a smaller number of tags. I look at it from the abundance standpoint, and that's why I spend a lot of our effort here with these platforms, a lot of my time, a lot of my money working with conservation groups, because I believe in the abundance theory that the bigger the pie, the bigger the herd, the more elk on the mountain, the more sheep, the more deer, whatever, the more tags. And if you want to do something to make your odds better, support these conservation groups that are helping increase the number of animals that are out there. That's probably where the solution lies. I don't know. I know how I'll say it. I wish there was an easy way, but everyone wants to go hunting. Let's see, what was that? Let's see. If hunting thick cover, how often do I locate call with no response? I assume you're talking about archery hunting for elk. You know, I've never really thought about it. I can go a whole day with no response. And then sometimes you hit that right drainage, right? So if you watch and observe elk, there might be 5 drainages that all look the same, or 5 ridges that all look the same. And you'd say, well, I'm just going to hopscotch through there and there'll be elk in all of them. No. For whatever reason, they pick this one drainage or this one ridge year after year. That's where they do a lot of their rutting. I can't explain why, but it's what happens. So sometimes I'll go all day without finding that ridge or that drainage. And then some days it's like, man, I walk up and down this ridge or around this drainage, and every time I call, they respond. I can't say how often. I call a lot. I never used to, but then I started hunting with my buddy Corey Jacobson, and he calls a lot, and he has a lot of success, and I like his theory. His theory is, you know what, there's an elk out there somewhere that wants to reply, and I'm here to find him. And I'll walk past these other silent bulls, and I'll go find the one that wants to call, and then I'll come back, and maybe these ones want to call then. It works for him, and I've seen it work really, really well. So, what do you think of resident elk populations that is available on OnX for Colorado? When you see that, or when the question's asked even, there are resident elk, but and it's not just in Colorado, it's everywhere. Colorado Parks and Wildlife has really good data sets of migration corridors, summer range, winter range, all that stuff. I I don't really have an opinion on it. Let's just put it that way. I go where I know the elk are going to be at the time of year I'm hunting them. And that's what we do all of these YouTube e-scouting videos on. Here's one of the 5 seasons I'm hunting. Here's the need. You know, it might be food in September, but it might be sanctuary in November. All right, where are they going to be? And I really don't look at all of that other stuff. I know where elk are going to be as a general rule. I just got to go out and check enough of those places to encounter them. But yeah, I would say that if you see it on Onyx, you can just about bet they got it from a good source. In fact, you can bet. I know those guys really well, and they put a lot of work into all these data sets that they collect and how they put them in their system. There's nothing there that they're making up. Let's see. Would you call in the rifle season of October 15th to the 21st in Idaho, or would I leave the bugle tube at home? I don't know. Maybe the first day I might try, but I'm not going to count on that as my primary tactic. There's less likelihood that they're going to respond than they will respond. So I'm not going to build a plan based on that. How long do you glass the drainage in late October before moving to the next? Depends on what I'm seeing or what I'm not seeing. If there's snow and I'm seeing tracks and I can read what those tracks mean. A lot of times when we're hunting late October, November, when there's snow on the ground, I can read a lot from those tracks. So just think about this. If there's 40 sets of tracks going across a snowfield or across a hillside you see over there, those are cows. Bulls at that time are in bachelor groups. That's not going to be a group of bulls. So if I got a bull tag, I don't really even pay any attention to that set of 40 tracks going across the snow. I don't even need to walk over there to investigate. Now, if I see 3 sets of tracks going across that snow and they're just in a straight beeline, well, that tells me a couple things. There's a good chance those could be bulls because it's a small group, bachelor group maybe, but they're just lined out. They're probably not in this basin. They're headed somewhere. Now, if I see them in these tracks are, 3 to 5 and they're just kind of meandering and mingling, I'm like, all right, now I've found the jackpot. Those bulls are probably around here somewhere. They're bedded down. That meandering, kind of bobbing and weaving is them looking for a bed or just feeding on their way to their bed. I'm going to check that area out all day long. I might even stay there. Even though I haven't seen anything in the morning, I might stay there in the afternoon till dark. And I'm like, well, okay, I didn't see them. I know what general direction they're going to be headed. I'll move a half mile or a mile further down the drainage the next day and see if eventually I catch up to them, because it's not like bulls usually go from summer range to winter range like the cows will. They use the transition range in a much slower manner than the cows. The cows are like, let's get out of Dodge, and they're going down towards the winter range, and they'll stage at the lower end of the transition range. A bull, he leaves the summer range, he's kind of, no, I can still find a little bit of food here, and he's just doing his thing. He's going to stay further up that transition range than those cows, and it's going to take him longer to get there. So what I see in those tracks, I can learn a lot without having to even walk over there and look at them. So, have I ever hunted Wyoming units 25-27? No, I have not. Has anyone on here ever received a Pennsylvania elk tag? I haven't. I hope somebody has, but not me. David says, Randy, this is my 6th elk tag. Based on your calendar and your schedule, this should be my year. Yep, it was 6 seasons before I shot one. Let's see. Randy, I heard on one of your podcasts that you film the clips between the stalk and the kill at separate locations. Oh, what's that? I'm not exactly sure of the question. How often do you drive up the forest road from home to film a clip describing a hunt you filmed? We'll do the interview possibly at a different location, but the stock and the kill, what you see is what's happening. I mean, it is where it is. So sometimes if you see me sitting down for an interview and I'm kind of trying to tie the pieces of the story together, that'll be in a different place. But no, if we're out there, you're gonna see the stock, the kill, everything is where it happened. So, let's see. I got to make sure that people know. Also, gohunt.com. If you want to use their insider, the thing we use for drawing our tags, doing our research, draw odds, all of that. Right now, they have a 30-day free trial going on. So go to gohunt.com/Randy. I think I got that right. Kyler's going to post the link here. Yeah, gohunt.com/Randy, and you're going to get 30-day free trial. Go do it. I would bet if you go and try it, you're going to like it. And let's see. Promo code Randy at OnX saves you 20% on their app products. Promo code Randy saves you 15% at Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls and 20% at Orion Coolers. I wonder if anybody wants to win a whitetail hunt. Bowtech, this is Bowtech's idea. I'm going to have Kyler post the link in the feeds here, but it's winawhitetailhunt.com/Newberg. You don't need to know that. But if you want to do that, you just answer a little survey and you get in for this Illinois whitetail hunt coming this fall. And like this place, the Grigsby Farm, I guess is like big free range whitetails. So all kinds of things that you can do today. We're gonna make it worth your while. Ron says, I use promo code Randy on every website. Ron, you're one of the guys then why I get the call of Sitco say, Randy, are you giving away a promo code? I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, well, people are trying to use the promo code. It's not. I only have promo codes with certain companies. But if you want Gerber, 20% off Gerber.com. And go to Gerber Gear. Is it Gerber or Gerber Gear? I can't remember. But anyhow, use promo code Randy there and save 20%. Want to save you money. That's the whole idea. You know, we want to get you in the best gear we possibly can at the best price. And besides that, all these sponsors are really, really big supporters of public land, of all the things we do, of all the conservation groups. Really, really fun. So Matt asked an interesting question. Randy, and I suspect this might be a question based on personal experience because I had kind of the same thoughts enter my mind at time. Randy, was there ever a time you were nervous that your son Matthew might not be interested in hunting and fishing, or did he even have a choice? Did you do anything in particular to get him interested? Yeah, I had some of those worries at times, but I just made sure it was fun. I don't care what we did. For him, camping was fun. So if we started a fire and he got to roast a marshmallow or a hot dog, that made the trip. If we went and did something else and he got to skip rocks and it meant that we didn't fish for a couple hours and he just found flat rocks and skipped them, he thought that was super fun. And so it was all about making it fun for him. And then it just became part of the fishing, letting him reel the fish in, getting him set up with his own gear for a bow or a BB gun or a 22 or whatever, so that we'd just go out and shoot, and he loved shooting. One time when he was a little tiker, I remember him looking at me and saying, Dad, I love the smell of gunpowder. And I'm like, you do? Well, let's get some more. Kaboom, kaboom. So whatever makes it fun for them, I think, and this is just my personal opinion about it, is you got to understand, you can't take a 6-year-old on an elk hunt 8 miles back in the mountains. That is a recipe for disaster. And this is about them when you take them. You're saying, I'm investing in you. So don't fake like you're going to invest in them and their future of being your hunting or fishing partner, whatever, your son, your daughter, your niece, nephew, whatever. Don't pretend that and then go out and make them sit out in the hot 95-degree sun all day long and get a sunburn trying to catch that last fish. No, make it fun. So, hey, my buddy Art Daniels, how you doing, Art? Heading to Wisconsin and do some Lake Michigan fishing, who is a captain for the summer. Going to get some big king salmon. Well, you know what my address is, Art. Have fun back there. Art Daniels, if you saw our film called Selfless, released a week ago Sunday. It's out on our Amazon channel, out on our YouTube channel. It's about conservation volunteers. Art was one of the people featured in that, and he's pretty modest. He's an amazing guy. Really glad that he let us, him and Matt and Eddie and Chris and Matt again, and all those people down there who let us impose on them to do that film. I hope you get a chance to go and watch it, because it's really about the hard work that volunteers do. So you deserve it, Art. Go there and catch a bunch of king salmon. Randy, I have the first muzzleloader tag in the Gila starting October 12th. Might a few bulls still react to calling? I would bet they will. I've been to a lot of hunts in New Mexico from October 5th through the 14th-ish. There's still quite a bit of calling going on, and until the shooting starts. Usually a day or two after the shooting starts, they're like, I remember last year old Pete never shut his mouth and he got a victory lap down there in the Nissan Titan. So it can be good still at that time. Let's see. Chip says, I'm 49 and I still love the smell of gunpowder. I do too. I love it. There's just something about, when you sit in a duck blind on a really cold morning, it's about 10 degrees, and those little wisps of gunpowder come out of your barrel after you take a shot. That's better than fresh coffee. It's just something about it. Tim says, Coos deer tag for me this year in Arizona. You want to go? I'll already be down there, Tim. I drew a tag also. I finally am giving up. Well, I'm not giving up on the archery thing, but I drew a rifle tag this year. First rifle Coos deer tag I've ever had since I was in college, and going to be fun, I hope. Let's see. Well, in Wyoming, if you had 2 points for antelope and 2 points for deer, what species would you hunt? Antelope. I don't know. You can hunt a really good antelope hunt in Wyoming every other year, every couple of years. So yeah, that's probably what I do. I've heard that a bull track is a different shape than a cow elk track. Wives' tail or legit? Absolutely legit. If you look at a bull track, it's going to be longer. It's going to look longer and narrower just because of how long it is. A cow track is going to be a little bit more compact, a little more circular. A bull's track is going to be more oval and long. It's going to be wider. And because a bull weighs, a mature bull is going to weigh, 300 pounds, maybe even more than that, than a cow. He's going to sink in. And also his stride is going to be way bigger than a cow elk. But yeah, it's not a wives' tale at all. That's completely legit. That once you hunt elk enough and follow enough tracks, you'll definitely get a feel for what's the difference between a bull and a cow track. Can a mature bull tell the difference between an immature bugle? I'm banking on sounding like an immature bugle. I suck. I don't know if they can or if they cannot, but I wouldn't worry about it. I'd go out there, they're probably going to respond whether you sound like the big bull or the average bull or the small bull. Just keep trying and go out there and do it, see it works. Oh, differences between hunting with llamas and hunting with horses. I can't really say for sure because I've only hunted with horses a few times. One thing I have noted is llamas are more agile. They're lower maintenance. and we can go in, and this is part of our strategy. We went into a spot this week, actually, that I have some concern about. It was an 11-mile trip. And the reason I have concern about it is normally we pick spots we don't think horses can go because there's not enough water for their horses. Well, this spot has a lot of water for their horses. So I'm worried I'm going to have competition in there from guys hunting from horses. Normally, I wouldn't have to worry about that because I pick spots with really sparse water locations that I know a llama can get enough water, and they don't have to water nearly as often as a horse, but a horse never could. Well, this year, or this area, the horse guys could be in there also. So and then you say horses don't spit. Never been spit on by a llama. Llamas don't buck you off and roll you over and send you to the ER for the orthopedic guy where you're on crutches for 3 or 4 years either. So, but then Victor says, llamas and horses don't care much for each other. That is true. Llamas don't mind horses, but horses hate llamas. And horse owners hate llamas worse than the horses do. Whew, man, I've gotten an earful. So someone chewed me out. They're like, whoa, what are you doing with these non-native llamas in here? My horses don't like them. And I'm thinking, really? Non-native, huh? Where do you think your horse came from? Your horse is not native to the United States. So it's just interesting to see how most horse people see those llamas and they're like, get those the hell out of here. But I have seen where it's not a good situation when the horses and llamas meet on the trail. And when we see horses coming, we'll yell to them, hey, we got llamas. You want us to go down off the trail or you want us to go up off the trail? That way they get to call. Usually they have us go down below them and then they come by and then we go back up on the trail. Last thing I want to see is somebody get hurt just because they don't get along that well for whatever reason. So, ever hunted Unit 59 for antelope in New Mexico? I have not. Do you prefer typical animals or do you like hunting for the freaky looking ones? If it's a pronghorn, the first order of business is goofy and ugly. And then we worry about size. Other animals, I really haven't thought about it that much. What about wild horses in Nevada and herding conservation? Boy, we could do 5 years of discussion on that. My opinion about those unregulated feral horses of Nevada is one that we probably don't need here other than, it really is impacting native wildlife. And these are not some sort of Spanish conquistador horses. These are mostly feral rogue horses that the owners let go out in the wild. Only 2% of Nevada's horses have any type of Spanish genetics to them. They're mostly just like people letting their dogs and cats go. And now they're out there, and it's not the horse's fault that someone let them go. They got to make a living. But we better figure out what we're going to do because it's having a serious, serious problem on the native wildlife. Sage grouse, mule deer, antelope, songbirds, all of that. Why do you have to ask that question? Now my blood pressure's up. For a guy who has a resting heartbeat of 40, all of a sudden my resting heart rate's probably up to 44. Let's see. So you have some funny answers here. I drew an Arizona late rifle deer tag on the Kaibab with only 3 points. Whew, wow. Now I'm freaking out. Don't freak out. Go and have fun. Man, that's a great tag. You'll see tons of deer. I hunted the Kaibab in the early season, and you have this summer range right up on top. You have your winter range. Then you have this huge amount of transition range that's oak and other stuff. You'll find them. Don't worry about it. Go up there, have a good time. What are you laughing at, Kyler? Someone must have said something really funny. Kyler's back there laughing. It must have passed through before I Saw it. What bow and sight do you use? All right. A lot of people ask the bow, but they don't ask the sight. So this sight here is a black gold Ascent sight. They make me a 3-pin sight. This is 20, 30, 40. It's got a slider, and I have this one mounted on last year's bow. This one right here was the Realm, and now this year my bow is a Realm SR6. So same sight on it, new model bow, but I've been using black gold sights since, I can't remember when I first started using black gold sights. A long time ago. Let's see. What else we want to talk about, Kylie? You got a really good one here before the final question? I just want to make sure that people know that you can still go elk hunting this year. I'm looking this direction because over on this whiteboard we have it all lined out. It says, hunt elk this year! Exclamation mark. Idaho is number 1 choice, Colorado number 2 choice, Oregon number 3, Montana 4, Utah 5. And we did an entire YouTube video on that last week. So go out and watch it. It goes into great detail about all that. But you should be elk hunting this year. There's no reason not to be elk hunting this year. Let's see. We got to make sure everybody knows that Amazon Season 7 is available. The first 9 episodes. We got 3 more to come. Remember, rmef.org/Gerber. Sign up while supplies last. Become a Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation member and get yourself a free Gerber Vital, the replaceable blade, just like that. And that's the only place you're going to be able to get this knife for being an RMEF member is rmef.org/Gerber. Kenetrek boots, go to our Facebook page and sign up for the contest and win yourself a pair of free Kenetrek boots. Can I quickly explain thermals again? Go out to our YouTube channel and in the search bar, type in thermals. Those videos will come up. There's one we did last year that has oodles and oodles and oodles of views. I was surprised how many people wanted to know about thermals. Jeremy says, hey, tomorrow is the last day to apply for your Pennsylvania elk. There you have it, folks. Maybe you'll be one of those lucky people that draw a Pennsylvania elk tag. Let's see. George Culpepper, BLM land for sale. Over my dead body. But yeah, there's all kinds of buzz about that right now because of lots of problems going on. There's a person who was appointed to be the Deputy Policy and Program Director at the BLM who has spent most of his career advocating selling our public lands. There's a link to that article and my opinion on it out there on my Facebook page. Go to Randy Newberg Hunter on the Facebook page. It's all out there. Charles, here's a really good question to end with. And it doesn't just apply to New Mexico. How do you handle how do you approach, I believe is what he's talking, a really wet season in New Mexico? This could be anywhere. So when you have a really wet year, think about how the moisture affects and the temperatures affect how the best elk forage dries up or is isolated to small locations. In a normal year or in a drought year, the elk are pretty easy to figure out, okay, there's a little seep there, there's a little spring here, that's where the best feed is going to be. You can kind of pick where they're going to be when they're on food patterns, when they need water. All of a sudden you get a super high moisture year like the entire Rockies has had in 2019, and now the food is dispersed across the landscape, so the elk are dispersed across the landscape. There's water in places that haven't had water for 20 years. So all those little spots where you're thinking, all the elk got to come here? No. So in a year like this, my approach is be way more mobile. Move and look, move and look, move and look, or move and call, move and call. Because that abundance of water and that abundance of forage changes the distribution of elk across the landscape in a way far different than what it would be in a normal year or in a drought year. So hopefully that answers a few questions. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Bowtech. Thanks to Leupold. Thanks to Onyx. Thanks to Go Hunt. Thanks to Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, Tight Spot, Ripcord, Black Gold. And if you want to get text notifications of this operation, text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to 64600. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.